Oh, hey guys, welcome to another episode of I'm Doing Great, the podcast on YouTube, which I'm very happy to say we still have a podcast, a long form podcast on YouTube. We're not going anywhere, okay? But you could still go to censored.tv and see our show there. We have a weekly advice and Q&A show, just Gina and I, and it's fun. We have a fun time. We read your questions and we give you answers. So if you want to send us any questions, you can send them to doinggreatpod at gmail.com. Oh yeah, sorry, I'm doing great. Thank you, Gina. I'm doing great pod at gmail.com. And you know, speaking of one of our sponsors, I kind of want to, I got an alert today that for the second time so far in January, one of my credit cards the information was taken to make some fraudulent purchases, and I had to go through that again, which is why I'm very happy to introduce to you our new sponsor, Aura. Listen, guys, Aura is an easy-to-use app that includes everything you need to stay safe online. Aura protects you from scammers and hackers by scanning the so-called dark web, where criminals sell stolen information, looking for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers. It alerts you fast if it finds anything. They help you fight back against those annoying websites that make your personal information public by automatically requesting removal of your info, and it also helps to reduce robocalls. Aura gives you near real-time alerts on suspicious credit inquiries, which I wish I could have used, like if someone was opening a loan or credit card in your name. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted, and they protect your devices from viruses, malware, spyware, and more so the bad guys cannot break in. Or even helps you manage what your kids can do on their devices. You can restrict specific apps, set screen time limits, and even set focus times to ensure your child is doing their homework instead of binging on YouTube. And their password manager lets you store and access your online passwords securely and conveniently. Maybe you already have an app that does one of those things, but with Aura, you don't have to download and pay for 7 separate apps. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now, Aura will give you a 2-week free trial with my link. You'll be shocked at how much of your private information Aura finds exposed over those 2 weeks. So go to HTTPS or just, www. Go to aura.com/doinggreat to start your free trial, and also link below in the description, or you can scan the QR code. Guys, go to Aura, sign up. You get a free trial for 2 weeks. It's great, and it benefits the show. I think they should do it.
Yes, please do, because the show is free to you, but it's not free for us. And we would really appreciate it. And it's a win-win. You get to protect yourself, protect your identity, protect your bank accounts.
I have a personal friend who signed up for it, and he was actually really appreciative of the fact that it does come with a VPN.
That's great.
Because he was using another company for a VPN, but it was just specifically for the VPN, but Aura kind of packages up as it. Aura didn't pay me to say that. My friend didn't give me a little, tip under the thing to say that. No.
We're definitely going to sign up because
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
It's smart.
Like I said,
have
2 free weeks. If you ain't happy with it, cancel it.
Yeah,
if you are
please.
happy with it, it's $10 a month.
Yeah, if you don't like it, just set an alarm on your phone to cancel it if you need to.
Just do that.
Yeah, 2 weeks is a nice free trial. Usually you get 7 days.
That really is a nice free trial. Yeah. I like subscription-based services, especially when they do have a trial, because I could find out usually within the first 4 days if I like it or not.
Yeah, if it's worth it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So another great podcast episode. This might be 79.
79.
Wow, we're almost there.
What are we doing for the 100th again?
I don't know. Maybe another live show. I mean, ideally it would be the gala. Ideally, the 100th show would be the gala. We just live stream the gala.
Oh, the gala. I wish we could do the gala. I mean, no, we're going to do the gala. It's just a matter of when,
it's just a matter of time.
But
now we're doing, listen, I think you guys are enjoying the React videos. We have the show Uncensored, and now we still have the weekly podcast. A lot of people were concerned. They said, are you guys getting rid of the weekly podcast? No.
Even though they hate us on Censored,
yes.
We call it I'm Doing Hate.
I'm Doing Hate. You guys are much more friendlier, and it's probably because we have a couple more women commenting here on YouTube.
And we have fewer black-pilled men, I think, who follow us and like us. But they do not, I haven't read the comments, but Mike informed me that they do not like us on Censored.
They don't. But I've been informed by a couple of other people that say it's a small minority of people who actually comment.
They're just the loudest ones.
Okay. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, today, this is, I think a couple of people have said to me, they really enjoyed the last episode 78.
Right.
They said, when you and Gina just rip and you don't go into anything specific or have anything, specific to talk about, any topics, I love that so much more.
I hear that a lot. I think, and people were saying something like, when you guys are just like natural and authentic. And I thought to myself, are most other shows kind of stiff? And when I thought about it, I was like, most other shows are kind of stiff.
They are, because a lot of them are news related shows.
Right.
And a lot of them are daily shows, and
Yes.
a lot of them are shows on bigger networks where they have to adhere to certain guidelines. Even shows that are independent, they tend to, if they don't really change anything, they tend to have the kind of same monotonous rapport with the audience. And I think the fact that maybe I think each week of our show is so different. We might have a guest, we might not have a guest. We might go nuts on a certain topic, or we might be reserved and just kind of make fun of each other.
We might ban people.
We ban people. We still ban people. I've been having fun banning people.
You know, you got to ban some people.
Actually, no, to be honest, I'm going to be totally real with you guys. I don't think I've banned anybody in the last month or so. Blocking people on Instagram, different.
That's different.
Banning
That's like
people.
a daily occurrence because now the gays are after us.
Oh, yeah.
I got this long DM. I didn't, you know that meme where it's like, it's really long. I'm not going to read all that. I'm sorry that happened, or I'm happy for you.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was thinking about this.
TLDR, too long didn't read.
Basically, there's just multiple long messages of some gay dude who wanted to tell me about how he knew he was gay.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I really think you need to hear these stories to change your mind. I'm like, I'm not reading this, bro.
You know what?
Like, I'm not interested in hearing about your gay stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not here I don't care about your gay stuff.
I don't care. Yeah. Good,
There's
good for you.
There's no such thing as a gay
Christian
child.
Walker would say, I'm really happy for you, but I don't care.
That is very Christian.
That is.
I'm looking forward to having Christian on the show.
Listen, a lot of people are going to be like, well, Mike has changed. And it's okay. So just so that you guys know, I'm going to speak in the future here because we're recording this on a Saturday, but it's probably going to go up on a Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
My men's group and I have already watched. There was a Vice panel on masculinity that Christian was on. We haven't watched it yet. Just so that if you guys are following along, wait, he has watched it? We haven't watched it yet, but by the time you're watching it, we have watched it.
Right. So you have watched it.
Yes. So I wanted to say that Christian on that panel was the least cringe person. So that should give you an insight onto the type of men Vice invited on. First of all, there was a dude with long blonde hair and a dress and platforms.
Wait.
Yes.
He wore that on the show?
Do you want me to pull up?
Nope.
Just at least, no, you don't even want to see what he, no?
Nope, because I'm going to eat lunch after this.
Okay. All right, fine.
And I've seen enough men in dresses to last me a lifetime.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, if you want to talk about that there's a spectrum of masculinity, yeah, there is. Some guys are more masculine than others. I understand that. But when you invite a dude with a dress, nose piercings, and an upside down cross, which is really just the St. Peter's cross, and he's pretty much acknowledging Christianity more than he is trying to make fun of it or be edgy. This is what you end up with now. It's kind of ridiculous. But
did Christian do his shtick? Because I think
not really.
Christian has a shtick.
He has a shtick.
And I've heard from a lot of people who know him that's just his online shtick.
Right. He has an online shtick. We know that. But in this panel, he almost got to it because he got a little catty at a couple times. But what he was saying, there was a bunch of what he was saying that was valid, specifically in men with fatherless homes and how they end up being once they're grown up. So the lack of masculinity in one's life could lead to a very unmasculine guy. That makes sense. So he would say things sort of in that realm, and I would go, okay, Christian Rock, he's not saying anything wrong here. His delivery might be a little bit weird.
I know we may disagree on this, but Christian's no dummy. I don't think he's a dumb guy. I think he's pretty.
Listen,
he's smart.
You cannot be
he's
dumb.
Intelligent.
You cannot be dumb and amass, hundreds of thousands or even 1 million people on social media to watch you. You can't be dumb unless you act dumb, unless you're like one of these prank people, or unless you're just kind of like one of these clout people who are dumb.
AOC.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's dumb.
She's dumb.
Everybody knows she's dumb.
Low IQ.
And there are a lot of dumb people out there who think that she's smart. With Christian, I don't think he's dumb. I think he's loud and flamboyant. I think he's annoying at certain points. Right. I don't think he's dumb.
Yeah, I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
Where this panel kind of not necessarily changed my mind about him, but it made me understand him a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So now I, wanted to get him on the show just to kind of like confront him and be like, you're annoying. I can't stand you. You're not good for conservatism. But now I kind of just want to invite him on and maybe talk to him a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, he's down. I mean, I've messaged him before. He's more than open to come on the show.
He
wants to prove you wrong.
Yes, leftists have entertained him, and he's made some good points. Like he went on Hassan Piker's show. He went on someone else's show where he was talking about the quote unquote "Don't Say Gay" bill, and he was dropping some truth bombs on people, especially about how we shouldn't be sexualizing kids or teaching fourth graders about sexuality. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, it's a run of the mill conservative talking point, but the way he expressed it was really interesting. So. And he had a bit of a change of heart on Mr. Walker. Not scared to admit that.
He brought up some really good points. I think this was after the midterms. He was saying how, I mean, this is something that we've been saying for a long time. He's like, at all these TPUSA conferences, any conservative youth political conference, who do they have speaking?
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw, Nikki Haley, like nobody listens to these people.
Right.
The right has to get more involved in the culture. Even a little less than that, the right has to be aware of the culture. And the right is just not aware of it. And that's something that Christian understands.
Yeah. But would Christian advocate for himself to be on stage at TPUSA?
I don't know
about that. Do you think he would?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, I think he would say that he's a better choice to speak at TPUSA than Nikki Haley is.
But then someone like me would say no.
Yeah, but when he's on, I want to ask him, is he gay? Is he gay? Or does he just act that way? Like
there's no...
A friend told me he's not. I don't know.
Unless he's pulling off the biggest troll in history. Like the big boob guy up in Canada.
That guy is pulling off a good troll.
Yeah.
Aren't those heavy?
They got to be if they're substantial.
Maybe they're just like light. They just don't, they look
or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because like when you like the Game of Thrones set, everything looks like so sturdy, but it's like styrofoam.
Right. You wanted to talk about something that you saw because you sent it to me, right?
Yeah, I saw this clip. I don't know who shared it. It went kind of viral. It's Brett Weinstein. Is it Weinstein? I think it's technically Weinstein on Joe Rogan. And they were talking about how to respond to the pro C-word, pro Crenshaw people now that a lot of people have turned a corner. Like, should we forgive them? What is the right way to move forward with these people? And I thought this clip was a good thing to chat about today.
We'll play a little bit of it. We'll play a little bit of it in a couple chunks at a time, and then we'll talk about it. So let's go. And Adriano, this will be on camera 4.
You that something is not right, and the answer is, look, you're not going to get punished by us if you come out now and you say, actually, I had it wrong, but don't you dare keep coming after us and then hide this fact that you've become hesitant and you don't know how to file that in your own mind. So that's kind of where I draw the line. If we have to get along with each other. We have to figure out how to do that again. And most people didn't do anything wrong.
I'm not drawing that line. And the reason why I'm not drawing that line is because I feel like we have to be charitable and forgiving. And that's the only way we come to unity after this. And I don't want to demonize people who demonized me. I don't want to be angry at people that called me an anti-vaxxer or, listen, man, I had Dr. Peter Hotez on early. I had Michael Osterholm on early, and I had him on again. I mean, I had all these people on early, and the Osterholm podcast freaked so many people out. I did it the very early days of the pandemic, before there was a vaccine, and Osterholm was painting a picture that was absolutely fucking terrifying, and it terrified me, and it made me want to get vaccinated. It made a lot of people like looking forward to that vaccine. And when you have this narrative in your mind, and then you see people that are somehow or another the enemy of that narrative in your mind, or a problem in that they're going to cause more problems for you and for other people and for vulnerable people. It even logically didn't make sense because the vaccine did stop the virus in its tracks. Why would you be angry at people that don't take it? Because they're just going to be vulnerable. Why would you be angry? You should be sad. You should be trying to convince them. Like the only way to convince them that works is with love and understanding, and to talk, to communicate with them in a way that's going to reach them.
Okay, let's pause it right there. Only just because you know that that wasn't ever going to happen, because like anything in America, if anything can be divided, it's going to be divided. If anything is going to turn neighbor against neighbor, they're going to do it. So of course they wouldn't approach, treating the Crenshaw with love and with understanding and saying, we're just looking out for your best interests. I think if it's something that you want to entertain, you're more than welcome to do that. If you have any questions, please do that. Instead, what they said, we're going to fire you from your job. We're not going to allow you to go outside. We're not going to allow you to go see your relatives who are in hospitals dying. We're going to make you into literal lepers and separate you from society. And they didn't do that. So what Joe was saying was, and I asked you before this, he said he's willing to forgive those people who called him an anti-Crenshaw and all these kind of people. And I asked you, are you willing to do that? And you said,
well, my whole thing is forgive, but don't forget. But also to add a little more color to that, there are a lot of people who have come out flat out and said, I'm sorry. Those people, I have a lot of forgiveness for.
Yeah.
Those people who came out and said, I was wrong. I believed the C word narrative from day one and I was wrong. I have a lot of respect for those people.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot to admit that. I've seen a lot more on Twitter, a lot of these viral tweets going around. And when someone comes flat out and says, I was wrong, like, I'm like, welcome to the light. I'm glad you're here. Now let's figure out what we can do to never allow this to happen again.
Right.
However, people like Ben Shapiro,
Yeah.
that dude didn't apologize once. He called us dopes
Yeah.
for being reasonably skeptical of the Crenshaw. He made fun of us. He even went on one of his shows and talked about how he was pro mandating certain Crenshaws, like taking it a step further and saying that, you know, kids going to school, they should be mandated. And there are some Crenshaws that even adults should be mandated for, even though he wasn't talking about the C word Crenshaw.
Right.
That guy, and then he has the audacity to come out on Twitter and interview some doctors and some other experts, and he's like reporting on the news about how the Crenshaw is harmful. No, dude. You never apologized. You never admitted you were wrong, and now you want to turn around and capitalize on the fact that the Crenshaw has a lot of side effects, that you were lied to, and then he acted like, I'm really angry.
Yeah.
I'm really angry right now that we were lied to. I can't believe that. I'm really hearing all this stuff like Big Pharma lied to us. You know, I'm like, okay, well then where's your apology?
Yeah.
You called us dopes.
Yeah.
That is a person I don't really have. I don't have much forgiveness
Neil deGrasse
for.
Tyson. Did you see
Neil
him on
deGrasse
PBD's
Tyson
podcast?
Yeah, he was like talking about how, oh yeah, there were a lot of studies. You know, it was proven, and I'm like,
That's what the trials were for. No, dude, we were the trial. We were the trial.
You were the trial,
And you
Neil.
know what's so funny about Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I think is he's just such a hack. He's so narcissistic. He's so gay. Like he's fake. Everything about him is fake and gay because all he does is study about the fake and gay.
Space is fake and gay.
So what he was saying is he says, no, I have no problem with people who don't want to get vaccinated. They should just not be part of our society because it's the good. It's for the good of the community. And if you want to not be vaccinated or Crenshaw, you can go live in a log cabin and not, you know, spread your disease to my nephew, his made up nephew who is immunocompromised and can't get it or something like that. And I wanted to bring up something to Neil deGrasse Tyson. If you're out there, if you ever watch this clip, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation? Because you care so much about data and science, fucking fake and gay. So here's a question to you. My wife, after we moved from New York to Tennessee, she still remained working for the same company. Yet, instead of going to an office, she worked in our home. We have a home office where she only communicated with people via email, phone, and webcam. Okay? C-word happens. C-word 19 happens. Her office mandates that everyone who works for said company must be Crenshawed. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, I understand you don't know what Crenshaw means. Crenshaw means, you know, you got to get the shot. My wife, who was breastfeeding at the time, had no available data on how the shot, how the V-word, how the Crenshaw affected breastfeeding mothers. There was no data. Not only that, she didn't work in an office around tens or even hundreds of people. She worked by herself and never had to travel. My wife was forced out of her job. Now, does that make any sort of scientific sense? Does that make any sort of moral sense? Not only that, after she was forced out of her job, the office in New York had a breakout of Omicron, where everyone was Crenshawed, vaxxed, and boosted. So you tell me, if the only reason for getting the shot was to protect other people from getting the V word, and from passing it along, where we were told for months upon months that if you got it, you couldn't spread it. But then all of a sudden, an office where everyone got it, the V word that is, had an outbreak of it. So you tell me, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who apparently has been published in papers and he knows everything about space and who cares about data and science, you tell me if that's scientific. Tell me if that's data-driven. But no, you go onto podcasts and you tell people that if they don't want to comply to government overreach and putting foreign objects and foreign chemicals into their bodies, that they should go live in fucking log cabins. Tell me if you really do believe that, or if you're just coping. I don't know what it is, but that when I saw that, I would never be like Joe here and say, no, I can forgive those people. Fuck that and fuck him.
I know, it's so hard, isn't it? But then, you know, I say my morning prayers, say my evening prayers, and what does Jesus tell us to do? He tells us to love the people who hate us. And it's so hard.
It really is.
It's so freaking hard. These people, They wanted you dead. They wanted your livelihood taken away. They wanted your wife to lose everything.
Yeah.
That is like,
You want to keep listening?
it's so hard, it's so hard, but it's weird that even like Joe Rogan, who is this hippy dippy spiritual guy and is obviously not a Christian, he makes me think about what we're supposed to do as Christians.
Yeah.
Is we are supposed to be charitable. We're
Right.
supposed to forgive, especially the people who don't ask for forgiveness.
Right.
We're supposed to forgive them.
I think he's going to go ahead and mention that here.
Call people an idiot and a fool or a monster or demonize them and saying, laugh when they die. I mean, there was this woman who's a famous food writer who demonized people. And she did it in a way where she was saying that the only good side was that the people that were dying were all these anti-vaxxers, and that somehow or another that was good, that these people that didn't trust the pharmaceutical companies, the companies that have had more criminal punishments, more fines for criminal behavior than virtually any industry that's ever existed, more lying about the adverse effects and the adverse reactions that people possibly could have or were going to have about these drugs that they pushed, where we have internal memos where they describe, like in terms of Vioxx, they describe these potential bad side effects that are going to happen, but also say, but we will do well with these. We have those. We have that evidence.
Yep.
So these people that got duped, I have nothing but love for them. And I think the only way we're going to get out of this is if we forgive them. And people are so hesitant to do that. And they're like, fuck them, fuck this, fuck that. You can't have
I literally just did that.
because we are them. They are us. I could have been one of them. If I wasn't doing this fucking podcast, okay? If I was just a regular comedian and that's what I did for a living, and I didn't pay much attention to alternative media and podcasts that were discussing this, and people like Peter McCullough or Robert Malone or all these people that were sounding the alarm, if I was one of those people that didn't have the access to these kind of conversations, I would not have a nuanced perspective. And if I had gotten vaccinated and other people didn't, I would be like, fuck those people. I would be just like people I know who I used to be friends with, who now hate me and are angry at me and talk shit about me online. And I forgive them.
Is Joe Rogan a better Christian than I am?
I know it's tough. And he says something that a lot of people on the right don't like to admit this, but I do in a way. Like, I get why so many people bought into the narrative, because every single mainstream power, every single power, all the major corporations, all of the celebrities, most of the politicians, all of the mainstream media, TV, Hollywood movies, every major mainstream machine was working overtime to shove this narrative down people's throats. And if you're someone who's you're just focused on your life, you're focused on providing for your family, you don't have the time or the resources to listen to alternative content and to be exposed to like shows like ours or shows like Joe Rogan's, I can kind of understand why you would swallow this narrative, because it was being shoved down their throat. Like, I don't know, I really wonder, like, if I was never red pilled, if I obviously never worked for Candace, I wonder if I never met my husband, like, I wonder what I would have thought if the pandemic broke out, if I had been really thick, if I what if I just come out of Harvard and I was in my...
You never ingested any sort of right-wing media?
Yeah, what if I never watched any Victor Davis Hanson or anything like that?
But it wasn't even only exclusively right-wing people who had a problem with it. Who had a problem with getting injected or whatever. It wasn't exclusively right-wing people.
No, of course. But like, it really makes you wonder, because the mainstream machines are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
They have successfully convinced people of the most insane things, like saturated fat causes heart disease.
Lucky Charms is healthier than steak.
They can convince you of anything. If they can convince you that a woman can become a man or a man can become a woman, they can convince you that the Crenshaw is going to save lives, and the people who don't take it
How many people in your family took it? Everybody in my immediate family, both brothers and mother and father, got it.
Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, my dad, diabetic. He's older. He's a what do they call the diabetics? What do they call the really bad diabetics? Not class 1. What do they call it?
Type 2?
1. Yeah, he's type 2.
Yeah, I mean, my husband's immediate family got it.
Yeah.
My immediate family didn't, but I definitely have aunts and uncles and
here's the thing,
cousins.
They didn't demonize me. I didn't demonize them.
Right.
That was the thing. My mom was kind of like more worried about like, oh, you should get it. And my mom, loves Trump, right wing, but she was more looking at it from, I don't want you to get sick.
Right.
That was the kind of thing.
Yeah. And so even people who were like exposed to a lot of alternative content, they still felt nervous, because what the mainstream machines are so good at instilling fear in us.
Yeah.
And they make it seem like reasonable fear. So I get what Joe Rogan's saying, because I do understand why so many people fell for it, because it's almost like you almost had no choice. You have 99% of the content that's being produced and shoved down your throats online is pro Crenshaw.
Yeah.
Was pro pandemic.
It's kind of insane how he sort of held his ground there. I admire that about Joe.
I
go through periods of disliking, his podcast. Just because, some of his points are ridiculous, especially his stance on abortion, which I would love to go onto that show and have a real discussion with him about it, because I think the guy from Babylon Bee fumbled a little bit. I don't think Matt Walsh necessarily talked about abortion. I think what did Matt Walsh fumble on Joe Rogan? I think he was talking about marriage.
They're on gay marriage.
Yeah. I think he fumbled that a bit.
It's tough. I think they both, Seth and Matt, almost like they're both maybe obviously a little nervous. It's a huge platform and it's really difficult. But I do feel like Seth Dillon did a great job. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing the way that Seth did, but I just feel like it really could have been taken a step further that would have delivered the argument a little bit better on abortion. But I mean, who are we to say? Like, if one of us were ever to get on a platform that big, we probably would fumble it too.
One of those problems is because Joe got very personal about it, because he brought up his daughter and said, well, who are you to say, what my daughter can do with her body? And then it becomes where you almost can't have the conversation with the person, because now it's emotional.
You got to step. It's not her body.
Right. And that's what I would, obviously I think Seth did say that, but
that's why Lila Rose does.
She would be great.
An incredible
Well, not even
job.
Lila Rose. There's a woman who I think she's the head of Students for Life. Or is that Lila Rose?
I don't know, but I've seen Lila Rose talk to really rabid women on a new show about rape and abortion, and the way that she does it is it's beautiful. It's like poetry.
Yeah.
Because she starts with a woman who is raped has faced some of the worst trauma one could ever experience.
And continuing that trauma in abortion.
And the way that she says it
like
sends goosebumps.
I got to send you this
spine.
woman. She's a bigger woman. She wears glasses and she goes to colleges all over the world.
She's really good
too. What I think is going to happen with Joe, I think Destiny's going to get on Joe Rogan's podcast. I just have a feeling, because Destiny's doing the rounds of bigger podcasts. And I said this to the men's group. I said, man, I really regret not pushing back harder enough about the Crenshaw stuff with Destiny, because Destiny when he gets on the topic of the Crenshaw, he's very pro Crenshaw. So I would like to see him on Joe Rogan just to see how he does, because Joe Rogan's not going to just accept whatever he says. Joe Rogan will push back about it. I mean, that's one of the things that I do appreciate about Joe, where if he disagrees with someone, he actually doesn't attack, but he goes on the offensive and doesn't just let people come.
Yeah, he did a really good job with Peter Hotez on that.
Well, that's the doctor that he said? Because Carly was like, that doctor was kind of out of his mind.
He's a V scientist, V researcher. And this is the one who was like, Joe Rogan asked him, what do you do to take care of your health other than the Crenshaw?
Right. And he says, nothing really, right?
He's like, no, I really like junk food.
Yeah, right.
And Joe Rogan's like, dude, are you serious, bro?
Yeah.
Are you how often? And he's like, how often what? And Joe Rogan's like, how often
I saw
do
this
you
picture of a
eat
meme where
shit
it's a
food?
really fat doctor sitting at his desk and he's got the stethoscope on and everything like that. And I think the meme was saying, if this is someone you really trust to talk about your health, you're missing the point.
Yeah.
It's like this. Yeah, I'm not going to go to any, fat, obese doctor. A general practitioner?
It's absurd. If I ever walked into a doctor's office and the guy was obese or the woman was obese, I'd be like, bye.
Smoking, different story. If I see the doctor outside smoking a cigarette, dude,
you're gonna be like, bro, can I get a drag?
That guy. I stand big tobacco. I really do. I wish I can grow my own tobacco. That'd be great.
Stand big tobacco.
Yeah.
That's a great clip.
Well, okay, so let's go from big tobacco to the ATF.
I don't know what's going on, so you tell me.
Can we get a picture of that? This is my message, guys. Go to
Does the ATF deserve forgiveness?
No, the ATF does not deserve. Go to who do I? Hold on one second. I'm stumbling all over myself right now just because I want to make sure I get their name right. And hold on one second. This is a podcast. It's all in real time. We don't edit in anything out of the long form podcast. Guys, go to Cutthroat Collective. Okay, on Instagram, Cutthroat Collective. Go get your fuck the ATF stickers. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who aren't necessarily gun literate, what's been happening over the course of, the last 100 years, because there have been anti-firearm legislation going back to the 30s, where you have the National Firearms Act, where you get the definition of where you get the original definition of like a short-barreled rifle. It comes from people sawing off shotguns. So if you made a 20-inch long shotgun an 18-inch long shotgun, you had an illegal shotgun, you had a sawed-off shotgun or a short-barreled shotgun. So now this is applying to rifles. If you have a rifle under 16 inches, it's considered a short-barreled rifle, okay? So let's say you have and we've talked about this on other shows. Can you just get Gina's face right now? Because she's looking at me like she's really confused. No. Get the close-up of how you were just looking at me. Yeah, that's how you're looking at me. So let's suppose you have a 16-inch rifle. You know, Adriana was talking about, I want to get a 16-inch rifle, okay? That's perfectly legal. All you have to do is go out and buy it. No paperwork necessary. Okay, back to me. If I want a shorter than a 16-inch barreled rifle, I'm buying what's called a short-barreled rifle, okay? Now, there's something called a pistol brace. A pistol brace was designed, do you know what a stock is?
No.
So the stock is the part of the rifle that you put against your shoulder, okay? It manages the recoil. It's something that, you put right here. You put your chin on or your cheek on so you can aim down the sights of the rifle. That's the stock. Usually you can attach your sling to parts of the stock. I attach it to I guess what are the back plate. Anyway, there's something called a pistol brace, where a pistol brace was developed for handicapped people so that they can put the brace on their arm, wrap it around their arm, and fire it with just one hand. Now, if you put that, let's just suppose I have a 10.3-inch barreled rifle. Looks like a rifle, but it's short. The barrel is short. It's under 16 inches. If I have a pistol brace on that rifle, it is now called an AR pistol. Okay? So it is not considered a short-barreled rifle. It's considered a pistol, an AR pistol. It's considered a pistol. It has the same sort of rules that a handgun would, let's say. But now the ATF has said, okay, if you want to transfer your AR pistol, your rifle that is 10.3 inches with the pistol brace, normally what you would have to do is, if you wanted to make it a short-barreled rifle and put a normal stock on it, you had to pay a tax stamp, because that rifle is now considered under the NFA, the National Firearms Act of 1933, and you get a stamp that says, I gave the government money so that they can allow me to have this type of gun. That's basically what a tax stamp is saying. The same thing that they do for suppressors and silencers. You need a tax stamp for that. It doesn't do anything to the rifle. It doesn't make it more deadly. It doesn't do anything like that. It's just whatever. It's rules so that we can make money and rules so that we can, have power over you. What the ATF has now done is they've come out with this new rule that turns anybody who has a pistol brace into a felon. So let's suppose I have my 10.3-inch barreled rifle.
A felon? Okay.
With a pistol brace. It's legal, right? Because it's an AR pistol. Now the ATF says you have a pistol brace, you now have a short barrel rifle. It doesn't matter what kind of brace you have on your gun. You have a short barrel rifle, and you now have 120 days of amnesty to register that weapon with us. You don't have to pay the $200, but you have to register that gun with us. So 40 million people have AR pistols, or that there are 40 million AR pistols out there.
We know of.
Right. Yesterday, or let's say last week, perfectly legal to have those. Today, illegal.
Why?
Those are illegal overnight.
What's their reasoning?
Well, let's see. This is from the ATF.government rules and regulations. Adriana, you can go to camera 4 so that people can read along with us. What does the final rule do? This is straight from the ATF website. The rule outlines the factors ATF considers when evaluating firearms equipped with a purported stabilizing brace to determine whether these weapons would be considered a rifle or short-barreled rifle under the Gun Control Act of 1968, or a rifle or firearm subject to regulation under the National Firearms Act. The term SBR is used to describe both GCA short-barreled rifles and NFA rifles with a barrel of less than 16 inches. The final rule's amended definition of rifle clarifies that the term designed, redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder includes a weapon that is equipped with an accessory component or rearward attachment, a stabilizing brace, that provides surface area that allows the weapon to be fired from the shoulder, provided other factors as listed in the definition indicate the weapon is designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder. Question 2. What happens if I have a firearm with a stabilizing brace that isn't SBR? Okay, so this is kind of like where you get into muddy territory, and I don't really even have a really good understanding of this, because a firearm with a stabilizing brace isn't an SBR technically. But now they're saying, well, what if I have one that is an SBR? An SBR, you would need your tax stamp for. So this is saying, what if I have a stabilizing brace that is an SBR? Anyway, the options available to you are further outlined in the questions and answer below. One option is to register the SBR per the requirements of the NFA. If I choose to register a stabilizing brace equipped SBR, do I have to pay the NFA registration tax? No. Provided you submit it within 120 days of publication of the final rule. This is so dumb. How do I get a determination if my brace device makes a pistol an SBR? In addition, this is important. In addition to ATF's list of commercially available firearms sold with stabilizing braces and other common weapon platforms equipped with stabilizing braces that qualify as SBR, any other firearms equipped with a stabilizing brace or rearward attachment may be submitted to ATF's fire. So don't send them anything, first of all.
Firearms may be submitted to, and then they give you an
address.
Absolutely.
What are the compliance options for an individual in possession of a firearm equipped with a stabilizing brace after the effective date? Now you have to go through the e-form system, permanently remove or alter the stabilizing brace so that it cannot be reattached, and thereby removing it from regulation as a firearm, remove the short barrel, and attach a 16. So what you could do is just buy a totally different upper that's 16 inches or longer. You can turn the firearm into your local ATF office, or you can destroy it. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is so stupid. Adriana, you can come back to me.
How much funding do you think ATF got in 2021?
$12 billion.
Yeah, $1.4 billion.
Okay,
I mean, I even thought that was
off by, I should have said 10% of that. But it's one of these things that people who are strict gun rights advocates, there's the term common use. And remember, we've talked about this on the show. If a gun is in common use, then you really can't make these rules that turn millions of people into felons overnight. It doesn't make any sense. Or you can't even outlaw that weapon. If let's suppose, I think they would have more reason to outlaw, let's say, Gatling guns. If, Gatling guns are the ones that have the circle and they go, and they fire like that. They're machine guns that spin and fire. Adriana knows what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But if, let's say, a bunch of mass shootings happened with Gatling guns, no private citizen really has a Gatling gun. Okay. They're just, they're fully automatic weapons, and there are certain people who have licenses to have those or to sell those. But the general public doesn't have access to them. So if, let's say, Congress wanted to outlaw Gatling guns, they would have more of a cause. I'm not saying that's right. I think we should have Gatling guns, but they would have more of a cause to do so because they're not in common use and they just want to get rid of all of them.
Right.
But when 40 million people have a type of rifle, it doesn't make sense for you to ban them.
No.
Because
let alone make them a felon.
Make them a felon. Have them to pay $200. Have them to register them with the government. Because what happened? I mean, they're not even using the line of short barreled rifles or AR pistols are being used in shootings, and it's a gun control problem. It's not even the case. If that was the case, they'd ban handguns by now, but they haven't done so just because they can't, because handguns are in common use, as are rifles.
Is anybody talking about this?
A lot of people are.
Okay.
A lot of people in the gun community talk about it. It's going to lead to plenty of lawsuits. And
I feel like they're turning people into felons.
Yes. Into felons. It's happening. Do I want to tell people to comply with these? And, if we had Drew on or if we had Lucas on, he would be like, you don't comply with these stupid rules because they're unconstitutional rules. And a good man should not comply with immoral, unconstitutional rules. I mean, I'm not telling you to commit crimes. I'm just saying,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Put a stock on it. I don't know. So it just sucks because if you're into the gun community, then you see a lot of people talking about this issue right now, and hopefully it just doesn't make any sense. It never made any sense to have to register a firearm or have to register an accessory in order to have that firearm.
You should go on Tim Pool and talk about it, because Tim loves talking guns.
Yeah, maybe we should. Listen, I've been invited onto the show by a third party. We've been invited.
I'll put you in touch
show.
with Cassandra.
Okay, we should go on there and talk about it. I mean, I don't know. I know how they're going to feel about it from a libertarian standpoint, of course. And with any sort of gun regulation, I would have to say I'm a libertarian. Just because, guns are tools and are weapons, and they are a constitutional right.
I don't think you'd have to be libertarian to take that position, though.
No. I'm saying I would be libertarian. If I was libertarian on any issue, it would probably be guns, where I'm saying I don't want any regulation on anything.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I
Absolutely
see.
zero regulation.
That's the Tim Pool take. Yeah.
I want to have. I should be able to make nuclear weapons.
Whatever
if I can,
weapons the government
tanks.
has.
Yes, exactly, because it's reflected in the Constitution when it was written that the civilian population should have the same weaponry as a standing army, just in case that army is overrun.
I wonder what Michael Knowles' take is on that. I'm very curious
On this
to
brace
hear.
rule?
No, well, that too, but also on the role of any government regulation when it comes to firearms.
When it comes to firearms, I think conservatives across the board and libertarians would be able to shake hands, and I would probably think have 100% of the same
I don't know, because Michael
views.
Knowles is not an anti-regulation guy.
No, he's not. He's not. But I think when it comes to firearms, it's a bit different
Yeah, I wonder what he would say.
because it's an inalienable
We
right.
should have him on the show and ask him.
Yeah, Mike, come on. Why every time I sit in this chair, I look fat? I look down and I know I'm not fat.
Well, I just think those chairs kind of like make everyone slouch over and give you roles that you don't actually have.
I'm sitting back, man.
This is why I like my kneeling chair. You get that nice lordotic curve of the lower back there.
Do you guys like this shirt? It was given to me, Kilo Tactical. Remember Kilo Tactical?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave me this shirt.
That's nice. I got to wear my Saint Wave
What does it say?
sweatshirt
What
next
does it say?
time.
Wundenwaffen.
Wunderwaffen.
It's the V2 rocket that was developed by Nazi scientists.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Werner von Braun. That's also a great thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's known. Operation Paperclip is when the United States government brought over tons of former
that a
Nazi
movie?
scientists to start NASA.
Did they do a movie?
Well, the back of it says Operation Paperclip. It wasn't a movie. No, I don't think so. No, well, October Sky was a movie with Tobey Maguire.
Right.
Where he was not infatuated, but he really looked up to
Jake
Werner von Braun. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Do you get them confused? I can see why.
Well,
you
they
get
were
them
in that movie
confused.
Brothers together.
I never saw that. Is it worth seeing?
Yes.
Is it good?
Yeah. You know what I had to do?
Yeah.
You fucked my wife. You know what I had to do?
I can't stand Natalie Portman though.
Yeah, she's just sitting there like. Only good Natalie Portman movie is not a bunch of the Star Wars movies, like you Simps would say, but closer. We all know that's a good one. Let's talk about a couple movies that we've seen recently. We watched The Menu.
We watched it last
not
night.
together, but we watched it separately.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny.
They classified it as a horror movie, and I wouldn't necessarily call it
I would
horror.
call it a thriller.
Thriller.
Yeah. I thought it was really funny.
I did. I think.
I thought, what's the guy who plays Beast in X-Men? What's that actor's name?
Is it Tom something?
Nicholas. Is it another Nicholas?
Something, yeah.
Not Nicholas Braun. That's the guy from Succession.
I hated his character, which you were supposed to.
He was so good at it though.
So spoilers or no spoilers, but his whole character was the person who appreciated at a weird pretentious level.
He was a fan
but
girl.
who could not execute. So he couldn't do the thing that he expounded and pontificated about.
Right.
That was his thing.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that.
Ralph Fiennes was fantastic,
Yep.
as usual. He's just he does those roles really well.
I really like Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
She's not my type, even though my wife would probably say no. My wife wouldn't, because she's like redheaded, so she probably be like,
My husband and I were talking last night. Like sometimes I think she's great, and other times I just can't even stand looking at her.
Are her eyes too big?
They're stuck. Yeah, they're too far apart.
We gotta get Adriano the mic. Adriano from now on has to have a mic.
Yeah, we'll give him a mic.
Just so that he can talk.
I liked her in The Queen's Gambit. I did not like her in Peaky Blinders. I thought she was very ill cast for
Didn't
that.
need it. Didn't need her. Didn't
Very
even need that
ill-cast.
character really. But yeah, they should have.
I don't know
someone
why-
a little bit older looking, maybe.
Yeah, she just was not the right person for that role. I mean,
Movies.
she was in The Northman as well, which my husband and I just like we did not get that movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. A lot of people went all in with it.
Yeah, some people were like, "It's the best film of the year." I'm like,
super conservative. I was like, yeah, okay, well, Nordic.
whatever, dude. They were just doing ayahuasca and mushrooms. Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. Because on my Instagram, I have a weird rating system. You've seen this in my stories. I think I gave The Menu a 3.3 something. Let's go back and see what I actually gave The Menu, just because people have been like, what is your freaking... Oh, no, I didn't rate The Menu.
I thought it was so funny when the magazine guy who went with the critic, he hid in the chicken coop.
I was handed an egg.
And then he was given the dessert.
The movie's
reward.
very weird. I gave
is.
it like a 3.315 out of 4, and that's what I do. If you get below a 3, your movie sucks.
Okay.
If you get anywhere between a 3 and a 3.5, it's watchable, it's entertaining, it's fun. If you get anywhere between a 3.5 and a 3.8, your movie's really great.
What do
it's
you give
fantastic.
White Noise?
White Noise? What was White Noise?
Adam Driver with Noah Baumbach.
Oh, yeah. I think I gave that like a 3.1 something only because the cinematography was really good.
Okay.
I think.
Should I watch it?
Oh, wait. No, I think I said I can't even rate this.
As an Adam Driver stan, should I watch it? Or
yeah,
is it
if
not
you're a
even worth
stan,
it?
you watch it.
Okay.
But I'm wondering if I should do, we're doing an offshoot of like React videos and all this. Maybe I should do a quick segments about movies and my reviews. Just because I watched this movie last night, which was on everybody's list of must-see movies for the year, I guess last year. But The Banshees of Inisherin.
How was it?
It was really good.
Really?
I gave that one a 3.715 out of 4. So that means great movie. Go see it. There are very few movies that get perfect scores.
Okay, I'll watch it.
It was really,
I like
really
Colin
good.
Farrell.
Yes, it had to do with. I'm not giving anything away, but it had to do with. Friendships.
Okay.
And it had to do with what do we value over friendships? Do we value trying to make something of ourselves, make ourselves memorable, or do we value friendships, however mundane they are? But if there's a personal connection, should we value those more over what we can do for ourselves?
Did you see Tar?
Tar. Was that the movie about the conductor?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't.
Yeah, she that got a lot of Oscar buzz. I'm a huge Cate Blanchett fan.
Oscar buzz.
And
I didn't even know that the Golden Globes happened.
Yeah, apparently they did.
I don't think anyone watched it.
Jennifer Coolidge got a Golden Globe. Yeah. She's just so funny.
These gays.
These gays.
These gays are trying to kill me.
It's Greg having an affair. But I would like to see Tar.
Okay.
The preview looked good.
There's this movie that a lot of people have been talking about. I don't know if anyone's seen this movie called After Sun. A buddy of mine saw it in the theater, and he said that he can't stop thinking about it. He's thought about it every day since he saw it last week. And I love those types of movies that you think about for weeks on end after you see it. So I want to see that. It's like $20 to rent it. Which is
to Leslie. People are talking about watching this movie to Leslie.
Can I see it?
Apparently she wins the lottery and then throws it all away.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently it's very good. I don't know, but I'm curious about it. I think you can see it on Apple.
To Leslie?
To Leslie.
I don't have Apple, so I wouldn't be able to
I don't
watch
either,
it.
but my friend does, so.
Yeah, maybe I might make a movie offshoot where I talk about movies and I rate it.
Yeah, you're a movie buff. You should do it.
I'm not a movie buff. No. There are people who do really good video essays. You're not a movie buff? I'm not a movie. I watch movies, but I wouldn't call myself a buff.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who, I would call those people cinephiles maybe. They do the video essays and they do a 17-minute video on, one movie. I would just talk about, a couple movies in 5 or 6 minutes and say, go see it, don't see it, go see it, don't see it. I think. And we can talk about it from a political point of view. Having said that, thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, I'm so hungry.
Yeah. You haven't eaten lunch?
I know.
Jeez.
No, I didn't eat lunch.
Cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's late.
We know it's a great meal. It's been really cold here in Nashville the past couple of days. I made some chili with some ground beef in it. Absolutely delicious.
Yum.
What a comfort food.
Great comfort food.
Yum.
You know what the Yum. You know what the secret ingredient is?
What?
Chocolate. 100% cacao.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, I bought it from Amy's. It was Amy's Mild. And then Carly said, it's in there, right? I said, what? She said, canola oil. I said, darn it. I forgot. I'm eating it just once.
You're going to die.
I know. I'm going to die.
I mean, we're not orthorexic. It's okay to have them every once in a while.
Bye, everybody. Look how fat I look. Bye.
What do you...
I look fat. Look how frumpled.
Well, it just